Welcome to the Family Wellbeing Indicators Data Dashboard. I'm Bart Klika, the Chief Research Officer for the National Office of Prevent Child Abuse America. For more than 5 decades, Prevent Child Abuse America has invested in innovative and evidence-based strategies that support primary prevention and family support strategies that support the primary prevention of child abuse and neglect. As well, we provide the field with the necessary tools, resources, and knowledge to create the conditions for all children, families, and communities to thrive. The Family Wellbeing Indicators Data Dashboard is one such innovation. Developed in partnership with families, community leaders, public health professionals, and private philanthropy, the Family Wellbeing Indicators compiles the national and state data needed to understand how we're doing in our journey to create supportive environments and relationships where all children can grow up happy, healthy, and prepared to succeed. Phase 1 of the data dashboard includes indicators associated with our North Star outcomes, that is, child maltreatment, adverse childhood experiences, and child flourishing. Future phases of the data dashboard will integrate data in alignment with the core aspirational outcomes outlined in the Blueprint for Family Wellbeing. For more information regarding the Blueprint, click on the button labeled the Blueprint for Family Wellbeing. If you would like to learn more about the work of Prevent Child Abuse America, the link at the top will take you directly to our website. Now, let's get into some of the features of our dashboard. So there are multiple ways to access the dashboard. You can either click Explore the Data or the Data Dashboard link at the top. When you arrive at the data dashboard, you're presented with national summary data across all our current indicators. Now, before jumping into the data, let's first look at some of the information you can access on this page. On the left side of your screen, you will see a number of links. Here, you're able to access our Blueprint for Family Wellbeing, direct links to particular indicator reports, and detailed information for those of you who, like me, want to understand something about the underlying data. The data for the Family Wellbeing Indicators Data Dashboard are drawn from already existing data sources. In other words, we didn't collect any new data for the purposes of the dashboard. Instead, we've leveraged data from organizations and partners from across the country and put it into one place so that telling the story of child and family well-being, both nationally and at the state level, is easier to do. Data for child abuse and neglect are taken from the National Child Abuse and Neglect Data System, or NCANS for short. Each year, child welfare agencies report data to the Children's Bureau related to child and family involvement with state child welfare systems. These data are summarized annually in the Child Maltreatment Report. The data for the current iteration of the dashboard are drawn from the fiscal year 2022 report. Now, a couple of caveats to this data. This data only represents those cases that come to the attention of child welfare agencies. Abuse or neglect that goes undetected are not reflected in these data. Also, because each state defines child abuse and neglect in different ways and independently runs a child welfare system, there's a great deal of variation in how things are defined and, as a result, counted. For this reason, caution should be exercised when comparing child maltreatment rates across states. Also, there's a delay in the data. In the dashboard, we note the year of the data we are using, which represents the most recent data that is publicly available. For more information regarding the child maltreatment data, click on the Understand the Data and Datasets Use button. Data for adverse childhood experiences or events, as well as child flourishing, are drawn from the National Survey of Children's Health, or NSCH. NSCH is designed to provide annual national and state level information on the health and well-being of children ages 0 to 17 years in the United States. For more details regarding specific measures and scoring of ACEs and flourishing scales, click on the Understand the Data and Datasets Used button. Now, let's look at some of the functionality of the dashboard. Let's use child maltreatment investigations as an example. What you see on the screen are the national estimates of child welfare investigations and the rate of child welfare investigations per 1,000 children in the US. To dive deeper on this topic, click on the Maltreatment Investigations button. Once you arrive at this page, you will see data on the child population, number of child welfare investigations, and the rate of child maltreatment investigations for every state. On the left-hand side of the screen, you will see a box with a list of states. Unclick the Select All box to customize the states you want to view. Maybe I'm interested in looking at a single state like Alabama. Click on the state, and the dashboard will display just the information for that state. Maybe you want to look at a couple states. Simply hold the Control button and click on the box of the state you are interested in comparing. You are able to select more than 2 states. Now, throughout the dashboard, you will see little yellow question marks. Click on the question mark for more information regarding a particular indicator. Now, the heat map at the bottom of the page provides a hover feature. Hover your mouse over a state and get a quick snapshot of all the indicators from that state. Now, let's go back to the data dashboard by clicking on the button Back to Dashboard. Let's take a look at child maltreatment victim data. Click on the button that says Maltreatment Victims. Again, you're taken to a page that shows the child population, child maltreatment victim count, and victim rate per 1,000 children for each state. In addition, for maltreatment victim data, the data are broken down by race, by sex, and by age. To narrow your view to a particular state, unclick the Select All box and select the state or states you are interested in. To get back to the data dashboard, click on Back to Dashboard. Let's look at child flourishing. Click on the button labeled Child Flourishing. As with other sections, the default setting in the dashboard is to display national estimates. For child flourishing, you'll notice 2 separate age groups, 0 to 5 years and 6 to 17 years. Child flourishing is measured differently for each of these age groups. For more information on how child flourishing is measured in NSCH, click on the Data Documentation button. In a similar fashion to other sections, use the check boxes to subset your data by state, by age, by sex, and by race. To get back to the data dashboard, click on the button Back to Dashboard. Finally, let's take a look at ACEs. Click on the button labeled Adverse Childhood Experiences. Now, the format and functionality is similar to other sections. For more information regarding the ACEs measures, click on the Data Documentation button. Back on the data dashboard main page, there are a couple of important features to highlight. First is the heat map on the right side of the page. Hover over any state and see a quick snapshot of indicators for that state. You can also view all of the indicators for your state in one single report by clicking on the State Profile button. Here we see an example from California. To change the state, simply select your state. To go back to the data dashboard, click on Back to Dashboard. Now, maybe you're interested in understanding how these indicators are distributed within a given region in the United States. If so, simply click the Regional Profile button, where you can look at all of these indicators broken down by Census Bureau regions. Now, there are a number of commonly asked questions about the dashboard. Click on the FAQ button to take you to a list of frequently asked questions. Click on the caret to expose the answer. Now, in closing, we are constantly in a process of improvement and very much value your thoughts and feedback. Our team can be reached by completing the form at the bottom of the screen. Together, we can ensure that children and families are living a purposeful and happy life with hope for the future. The Family Wellbeing Indicators Data Dashboard helps us tell the story. Thank you for watching.